Hello, hi, you have Jake with Seamless.AI here. Appreciate everybody jumping on. Looks like we have one who's joined us so far. So you have Jake and David here. Sorry, I'm a minute or two late jumping in here. I think we might have one or two more people jumping into the group meeting here today. So we'll give just one more minute, and after that, we'll go ahead and get things kicked off and get started.
Thanks, Jake. Yep, that's kind of what I figured too. I knew we had a few more attendees. If they end up not hopping on, then looks like you'll get more of a hands-on personalized training today, sir. Or madam. Not sure. You could give, if it works, you could go ahead and unmute yourself, since it looks like you might have a solo today, dedicated training session. Totally up to you.
Yeah. Hi, David. Hi, Jake.
Yeah. Hello. How you doing? Yeah. As David mentioned, I think we had a few other people on here, but I think they may be staying out here for an early long weekend potentially. So appreciate you sticking with us. But yeah, so what we'll be doing here is David. He is our director of CS, customer success, and he's going to be walking through the platform and basically just kind of doing an overview. And since we do have kind of a one-on-one single experience here, we can start to tailor that a little bit more to your specific needs if you'd like. But David, with that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you and kind of let you lead the ship here.
Yeah, absolutely. And while I do that, I'll run through a quick demo, but I'd love to give you a chance to introduce yourself and tell us briefly a little bit of what your objectives with Seamless are, and then I can kind of tailor the presentation to your needs as we go, if that works.
Am I audible?
Yeah, oh yeah, sure. If you just take 1 or 2 minutes to tell us a little bit about what you're using Seamless for today, and then I can try to address it as we go along too.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So basically, Seamless is something. It's particularly. So I belong to N Dimension Labs. David, I probably exchanged a few emails with you when I bought this.
It sounds right.
Yeah. So I am one of the co-founder of the company, in Dimension Labs. We are a technology and a development company. So Seamless is something a long back. One of your director, AJ, I believe, she gave me a kind of a demo for how Seamless works, because we were struggling a little bit with the lead generation. Okay, because we tried a lot of various platforms, but lead generation is something we were struggling to. So Seamless looks really seamless. How I tried few of how we can really gather email IDs and stuff from our targeted contacts, and how we can really get through and kind of research the particular leads and get kind of the data and stuff. Yeah, that's really fine. So what I'm looking forward is to really use it. I got an overall idea how to use it looking into your help center, but I really want to know how we can actually use it on a daily basis and on a day-to-day sales process.
Makes sense. I love it. And yes, I do remember our conversation, so we can tailor a little bit as far as geographically what you're looking for as well. So perfect. So what I'll do is I'll run through the combined searches that we have here. We've got both a company search and a contact search. I'm going to go ahead and clear this out for us for a minute just to start from scratch. What we've done is we're the first to get across the finish line when it comes to providing an online search engine for sales professionals to use to access real-time data to generate their lead content. Basically, our founders found that they were missing 80 to 90% of the total addressable market for the selling that they were doing for Google, for IBM, by using typical database solutions. So we built these two searches, Find Contacts and Find Companies, that help us use real-time data to find contacts and companies, and then use a multi-step AI validation process to make sure that we're reaching out to the right people. So to that end? Like, you guys, you're a technology company. I'm assuming, so you're located in India. Is that mostly where your target market is as well, or are you targeting outside of that market?
Yeah, we are not targeting India because 99% of our customers are hailing from US, Europe, and Australia. So yeah,
Makes sense. Okay, yeah. Nope, that's exactly why I asked, right? That's why we have these options available here for you to target by geography when it comes to the company search. So for the sake of a demo, I'm going to go ahead and limit the search to all US. When you are targeting particular markets, are there any particular industries that you try to start with? Anywhere that you have a sweet spot, that if you can get the right audience in that industry, they're going to get a lot of value from your product?
yeah. So initially, we will be targeting, for an example, logistic companies and healthcare companies.
Gotcha. So let's start with hospital and healthcare. Give that a run. Okay, so on the company search, we can pick between those targets. Obviously, we have fixed industries here that you can select between. We can also go for estimated revenue or employee size if you have any targets on those fronts as well. I'm going to go ahead and run a search here. And real quick, if we wanted to, we can also get into company keywords, which gives you the ability to apply some Boolean logic if there are certain types of companies that you're looking for, and trying to find a way to narrow down that search. But honestly, we try to recommend casting a broad net when you first start out, because you kind of have to adapt your practices away from the way you might behave when you're using a database and behave more like when you're using a search engine. Cast a broad net and then narrow it down from there. So I've got hospital and healthcare selected for industry, all US for locations. I'm going to go ahead and hit search, and Seamless is going to stretch out across as much information as possible and find any companies that match those criteria. Obviously, we're doing all US, right? So we're going to cast a pretty wide net here. Now, what I can do next, if I want to narrow this down to find individual contacts and I want to build a lead list, got all these companies filtered here. I'm going to go and hit select all. What that will do is automatically filter all of those companies over here in our contact search. So we've built two different searches. One is to find companies, one is to find contacts. And we've built a user experience flow here that helps you leverage them both together. I'm going to go ahead and add some titles here as well, so we can go after decision makers. And when I hit search again, now we'll pull in anybody at those organizations with that title. Now, in this case, you're pulling in a lot of hospitals. I'm assuming that's not necessarily what you're looking for when you're talking about healthcare, right?
That's good.
Good. So what we can do is go back and adjust our search. Let me see if I can maybe able to remove some of these. Let's see. Yeah, so Jake, this is an interesting use case, and I'm sure we've run into it before. We've got that hospital and healthcare industry tag. My thought is we could use the keyword Boolean logic down here to remove some potential targets that look more like hospitals than healthcare organizations. So we could give that a shot, unless you have, you designed this product. What other ideas do you have that could help us create, a target that eliminates some of these hospital-based contacts and drive more toward healthcare?
Yeah, I mean, I think, utilizing some of those keywords and things like that and just really sort of playing around with it. I think the benefit also of Seamless is that, you get unlimited, so you don't really have to worry about just getting in there and testing out the system a little bit and kind of playing around with how you can find your best company sets. Every person and every contact is different. And we also, with our Chrome extension on top of LinkedIn and Sales Navigator. So if you have LinkedIn or especially if you have Sales Navigator, that's another solution that, we'll go over here that you can find a lot of success with is just putting in those keywords specifically within Sales Navigator and finding contacts directly underneath those as well and getting the kind of direct contact to company combinations. So our system really helps you to identify those companies that you may want to sell to, and then after that you can identify contacts under those companies. I might also recommend potentially initially just start building out your companies list just by building a large list of companies in search and adding them to your My Companies instead of selecting them right away. So you see that first option is add instead of select. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to add them to your My Companies. And so then after that, after you add them, they'll end up in your My Companies, and you can build a large list by using the add or the add all. And after the fact, then you can go in after you've built your company list, and then you can start finding contacts underneath those companies. So build a company list first, and then build a contact list, so you don't really have to keep jumping back and switching contacts. I think if you want to try to immediately find contacts right away, then doing the select and jumping back and forth and going from contact to company and contact to company will allow you to build a list pretty quickly, and you can kind of get right in and get out. But if you are looking to build a list from a volume perspective, I would say potentially build your company list and then build your contact list using My Companies. And so you can see you have the select option there in My Companies as well. So you can do that after you've narrowed down and you've said, I find all these companies. I've used the add button to add the companies that I want. I've added 50, 100, 150 companies or whatever that is. And then after that, I can go in and I can find contacts under those companies. So you can kind of keep your context in finding companies, and then I'm finding contacts under those companies and not have to switch back and forth. You do want to do it all at once. The sales nav approach, if you do happen to have that, or if you're considering that at all, it does allow you to use company criteria to search directly for contacts. And so, you can get to that information in a slightly more expedited fashion.
Yeah, exactly.
Combination,
exactly right.
Which is why we spent a lot of time as well, in addition to the platform, in optimizing that Chrome extension so it works as efficiently as possible if you're in that channel and using it for those methods.
Yeah, exactly. Now we'll certainly take a look at the Chrome extension here in a moment to make sure that you get access to that too, Dipto. But thank you, Jake. That's fantastic. I'm glad you covered as much ground as you did there. Perfect. So I think what really, like, one of the things I think, Dipto, there that resonates is make sure that you're casting a wide net, and make sure that you are building this list as you go, right? So what I want to make sure we touch on the functionality of what happens next, right, as part of the combined company and contact search, and then we'll get into the experience and the social search as well. Once you find the right combination of companies, and you've got that, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, sorry to interrupt you here. So I'd like to know, once, as Jake said, so it's recommended that we should search first the companies and then the contacts. So can you please show me once, for an example, you have already searched for the companies, and from companies,
Exactly.
how can I really get to it?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I want to show you next, right? So once you get the correct companies tagged, you can search for those, and the contacts start to pull in. We get those results in one page at a time. Once you click this find or find all, that will pull in their contact information. What I'll do first is create a list here, right? So I'm going to get a feature here that allows you to keep your contacts organized so that as you pull them in, you can build out different campaigns. So I've got all of these set to go to my healthcare VP list. I've got all these contacts pulled in from my company search. I'm going to go click find all. And now Seamless.AI is validating all available information that can help us find validated contact information for these leads. And you can see them start to come in right now. As they come in, those are also automatically being added to my contacts right over here. And they're automatically being added to this healthcare VP list. So that's that two-step process. Find companies, select companies to bring over into our, find companies, select them, bring them over into our contact search. And then from there, you can decide which ones you want to find and organize in your contacts. First, before I go any further, we will look at our Chrome extension and how this functions outside of Seamless, so you can operate in LinkedIn as well. But any questions about that two-step process of moving from company search into contact search?
Yeah. So one particular question on the
Of
right
course.
top, you said you can create your own folder, or I mean, where you have put in your own. Yeah. So here, so how to do that? I mean, what is it all about?
Great question. I'll get into the why behind that here for you. So I created this healthcare VP list, right? I can create as Jake, Jake, you probably did build a limit in here somewhere, but you'd be hard pressed to create to go over it. So I won't want to say as many as you want, right? But you can create lists, automatically load contacts into. Now the advantage that gives you is when you come back into my contacts and you want to start to act on these. If you want to export them and work from a CSV or import them into a CRM, you can filter by that particular list right here from within my contacts. Let's say I want to look at these. I can apply that filter. And now I can download these contacts into a CSV. We give you the opportunity to download clean data, which gives you the validated email address and phone numbers along with information on to what extent we validated them. Raw gives you basically all of the information we were able to find. So if you want to do some more digging on that, you can. We make that available. By and large, people use the clean version because it's a good way to move quickly into reaching out to your target market and starting to close some business. But that's the advantage of using the lists. That way you can do your filtering here within Seamless and download from Seamless without having to do any extra busy work from Excel or from a CRM.
That's great. That's great. So can you please click on this download again on the right
For
corner,
sure.
right hand side? Yeah. So what is this download? Okay. So what is it download filtered? So what is filtered? Like,
If you wanted to apply additional filters around, like let's say you just wanted to reach out to company phone. Jake, tell me if
okay.
I'm interpreting this correctly, right? Like you can apply these filters. Jake, does a user need to click filtered or
Yeah.
all on that filter?
So it would be filtered, yeah. So in this
Yeah.
scenario, you can see the filters are engaged, and so at the top of my contacts and my company, there's that little filter. It looks kind of like a funnel, the icon that David clicked on. And then as soon as you click on that, you can engage the filter to filter your result set down by that. And then you can download just that filtered result set. So you can see you have the X's here on email and phone and lists, so you can narrow down, multifaceted filters and things like that. And then just download that filtered list as opposed to downloading the entire data set that
All of your
contacts. Your
contacts.
entire contacts.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And then just a quick peek of what that looks like for you. Pretty straightforward. Are you currently using a CRM like Salesforce or HubSpot?
No, we are using a CRM called Fresh Sales.
Gotcha. Most of our clients, right now we have a native integration with Salesforce and we're working on some others. For the most part, our clients are working out of these Excel sheets and then importing them into whatever CRM they're using. But we have some integrations on the roadmap throughout the rest of 2019 and into 2020. It's one of our initiatives as we continue to grow the product is making it as accessible as possible to the entire library of CRMs that are out there. But yeah, for now, that download is going to be your best bet, and that really is the extent of the primary process of moving from company search, gathering your list of companies, and making sure you have the right targets, applying that to your contact search, making sure that they're in the right list, the right filters, and then downloading from there. Some additional features along the way that can prove useful. If you ever want to, I'm going to scroll down on my contacts a little bit here. If I can, let's see. Oh, right, I got the filter on. So if I remove that. If you are looking for a little more on, you can get more intel on the validation that we're performing on some of this contact information. But just so you know what's happening in the background, when we pull this contact information in, we are using a multi-step process, email, social, web, etc., to validate this information, and then we report those results back to you. So if we can confirm that we were able to, send a virtual email out to the server for this organization and get a ping back, this email is going to be marked as valid. You can see all of the other potential combinations that were found out in the data we were able to pull together that did not make the cut. So this is available to you if you want to do a little bit more research. You can also distinguish between company line and direct line, if that's a value and that's something that you're looking to prioritize. And then finally, the Intel feature over here allows you and your team to go a little bit deeper on each individual contact's profile. So if you wanted to get access to some Google research on the contact, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., that's where you can go to do that natively right here from within the app. All right. So what I'll go ahead and do now is I'll take us out of the app and into the experience with our Chrome extension in LinkedIn. Do you use LinkedIn or LinkedIn Sales Navigator as part of your sales process?
Yeah, we use normal LinkedIn.
Perfect. All right, so I will go ahead into Sales Navigator to show you what the experience looks like. And in order to do this, you will need to download the Chrome extension that I've got here. I'll show you where you can grab that in your settings. So we do see, especially some of our power users, the ones who are building large lists at scale and then getting them back to their team to move and really 10x their business. They're using the combined powers of LinkedIn Sales Navigator and Seamless.AI. Like, we built this Chrome extension because we know we have a lot of people who already work in LinkedIn Sales Nav. It's familiar, you know what it is. So let's give you an experience and an ability to apply the tools that Seamless has developed over the extension of of LinkedIn Sales Navigator to give you the best of both worlds. So as you can see, once I hit that social search, I've already got the same keywords up here, and I can even apply additional ones that LinkedIn Sales Navigator has. If you're really looking for contacts at a geography level, this is a great place to do it from, since LinkedIn has got that data scoped out, seniority function, etc. So you can certainly add filters from here as you go. And then the real benefit is that you're able to find all directly from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And this is just doing it all automatically, all on its own, scrolling down the page and finding all of those contacts. And all of those are being reverted back into my contacts here in Seamless. So we're still performing the same validation and the same ability to pull and segment these lists from within Seamless so you can pass them on to your team or work them yourself. And then from there you can move on to the next. Pull in the next set. Start to bring them in. Okay, see that same process going down. Researching and validating in real time. That is one of the biggest differentiators we provide against the solutions in the market. Most of what you see out there is going to be database driven, and they're going to put a lot of overhead into maintaining that database and paying an army of people to manually keep that information updated. We are relying on technology and changes that are taking place in the market in real time to get you this information. So if Kevin just joined this organization a few weeks ago, this is one of the only places you're going to find that information at scale like this. You're probably not going to get that from a database company. That is the experience in Sales Navigator if you have the Chrome extension installed. Any questions about that? Perfect. And I failed to put this in place before. You can also, these lists carry over with you, right? So you can default that list, and then if you do that from here, it'll automatically save into that list, just like you have in Seamless. I'll find all through there. We also did just implement a new feature for the Chrome extension that features it on the lead lists portion of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So now if you have a lead list in here, it'll overlay right onto that as well, so you can find these contacts. All right. So that's the experience in LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Like I said, not all of our clients use it, but a lot of our successful power users will do that in order to really scale up their searches, and especially if they want to apply a broader set of filters than we have in the search engine component of the site here.
Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt you again. Can you please go back? Okay. Can you please go back to LinkedIn again?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So to the previous page.
with the Search Navigator General, right here, Sales Navigator.
Yeah. So where it is, I mean, the healthcare VP. So how to use this? I mean, on the right of your right hand side, where there is find all and next, and then there is a drop down where healthcare
Mm-hmm.
VP. So how to use that? Um, this yeah. So how to use this?
This is the exact same feature that we have right over here. It's just layered over into the Chrome extension. Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. So we're trying to pick the parts that you need in order to access contacts and bring them into your lists, extend them into the experience in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and give you that same capability. You can even create a new list from in here if you want to.
Okay. Okay. So I can name it on my own, right?
That's exactly right.
All right.
So yeah, I can call it whatever I want, some kind of list. Boom. And then there it is. If I want, I can have that be my default.
This list is going to get synced with my Seamless account. It's going to get synced, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. No matter where you click that, whenever you click that find button, those are always going to end up in your My Contacts and My Companies. So it doesn't matter if you find him using the find button in LinkedIn and in LinkedIn Sales Navigator or in Seamless, we're going to put that all in your data set, in your My Companies, or in your My Contacts, and if you're finding companies, then in your My Companies as well. So you see that
Just like that.
In the same place, no matter where you find them.
Awesome. Perfect.
Excellent. All right, any other questions about the search functionality before I move into some general settings?
No, not at the moment.
Perfect. All right, well, I'll show you around a little bit. First thing I'll demonstrate here is if you ever need any help at all and need access to our customer success team that I head up, that's exactly why this is here. Give you the opportunity to search if you have any questions. This building. You know, we'll bring in some articles that could help you out. And then, of course, if you need to reach out to us, you can do that here as well. Add files. You ever run into a data set that, you know, you feel like, man, I feel like I validated this data and I'm not seeing the results that I was expecting? Send it over. We'll give it a look, right? We're here to help in any way to drive success for you and your organization with any questions that you have and make sure that this is empowering you to grow your business. So we're here to, you know, that's the best way to access support. We do try to make sure that we provide as much information as possible for you to be self-sufficient and manage your own success too. As far as setting up your account, if you go over here to that little sandwich that was just there a second ago and hit settings, that'll take you into a quick tour that you can run through. And actually, when you log into your own account, you may have already seen these. We set up product tours in almost every part of the experience to give you some in-app guided training to help you as you go along, and you'll continue to see those messages as you use the product with pro tips and advice from our team based in large part on what we learned from working with other clients who are using this tool to drive their success. From here as well, you can jump right to the Google Chrome extension. I would recommend doing that right after this call to make sure you get that added if you don't have it added already, especially if you're going to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator as part of your strategic approach. From here, you can also add it to your email address just to simplify ease of use there. You can invite coworkers, schedule a demo, and add to CRM. Currently, adding to Salesforce is the only option, but like I said, we're going to be rolling out additional integrations over the course of 2019 and 2020, including, Jake, I think we're not too far away from looking at Zapier, right? And they have the ability to integrate with multiple CRMs. They're sort of a technology product that ties different solutions together.
Yeah, we're about, I want to say 4 to 6 weeks away from our Zapier integration. So I don't know if your CRM is inclusive of that, but they have, you know, tens of hundreds of CRM integrations. So very well may allow you to open that up.
Yeah, Press is, they have Zapier.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we're very close to be able to integrate to that, and so that'll allow you to have that direct integration through that Zapier third party.
Excellent. And then additional features in the account. If you wanted to join our affiliate program, you can do so from right in here. pretty straightforward way to earn commission from inviting people to join the platform. The other benefit to this as well is, it's easy to sleep on the AI component. But the truth is, the more our user base grows, the smarter this technology gets, the more data, we're able to consume and validate against what you're searching for. So this not only works in your favor in terms of, any kind of affiliate program, getting a little bit of extra benefit from sharing the platform with people, but it truly does grow your own success, because in doing so, you're only helping to improve the product and help it continuously strengthen its ability to validate real-time search data that we're pulling in for you. You can also, from your user management section, if you ever want to add more licenses, this is exactly where you can do that from. Add licenses or invite new members, and then you can manage those accounts from within here. And from, let's see, the only other part I want to look at, you can review your connected apps here as well. Oh, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So what is the difference between add licenses and invite new member?
If I go to invite new members, Jake, if I click on this, I haven't actually tested this too much myself yet because I haven't had any new members to invite. Being an employee,
so inviting new members, actually, add licenses is going to add, basically purchase more licenses. Seamless. So Seamless is one-to-one. A user equals a license. So if you want an unlimited user, you buy them a license. So if you'd want to add, a couple licenses for your team, you go ahead and add licenses, and that's going to take the checkout process to add those additional licenses. So then you can distribute those to additional people. Inviting teammates is just going to invite users to your team. So it's going to send them an invite so they can join you on Seamless. They can sign up as well. And then if you have licenses to distribute, you can distribute them that way as well by inviting the team. So when you click on invite the new team member, you'll see right now in David's account, he doesn't have any licenses to distribute. So he can invite them as a free user. But once you have licenses that you purchased and you have available licenses to give, you can then assign them as an unlimited user as well and invite them to be an unlimited member of your organization.
Okay, so for an example, I have at the moment one license. Okay, so can I include another team member of mine? For an example, I'm not using it on a daily basis. I'm using it on two days a week. So the rest of the days, can I lend my license to somebody else in my team?
That's a good question. That can get a little bit tricky. Systemically, we have measures in place to try to create a one-to-one relationship between person and license as we grow and scale the business. That's something that may be fairly straightforward. The risk is that you may run into some of those systemic checks that are trying to keep one person using one license at a time. You may run into that if you share the credentials. They're just parameters that are set up at a technical level that try to detect multiple users on one account and then potentially lock the account. If that becomes something that you need to do at scale beyond, hey, on a one-off basis, I'm going to have somebody try this out to see if they like it, then I would definitely recommend adding licenses for each individual person who's going to be using Seamless. That's really the way it's designed. That said, it's also very easy to invite new members who are on the unpaid version. If you ever want to give other people on your team a little bit of exposure to how it works, so they can kind of scale it up for themselves and evaluate it. That's normally the typical path that people will take if they're looking to grow their license count. Start with one, give some other folks on the team access to the capped version that's not paid, and that gives them a chance to evaluate it and see if they want to expand from there. So recommended to have one person to one license. But if you do try to have someone jump in to help, you might run into some systemic issues there. So I really just want to make sure we're setting that expectation and being transparent about it for sure. Perfect. I saw that we had somebody else. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dev. We'll get another question from you.
So I have another question. So, for an example, this license is on my name. Okay. So, for an example, in next couple of months, I am not able to use it. Maybe I'm on a business trip, or I'm not using it. So, is it possible to transfer that to any of my colleague or somebody who can use it, other than, or maybe change the name in his name? Is it possible?
I believe that's technically possible. Jake, I'll defer to you on how what the best approach might be. You know, I think that's something we could possibly manage in relation.
Or for an example, yeah, or uh, for an example, in the future, I take it for another of my on my sales team, okay, sales executive, and for an example, he starts working with it, and then in few months he leaves the company. So when I'm getting another
Yeah.
person in this team, so how do I change it? I mean, because it's related to my email ID, one particular email ID. So is it possible? To transfer it?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You can actually do that. So the screen that we're on here, your org screen, this is where essentially if you want to add more people to as free users, so you can invite anybody else to the platform that you'd want, and they'll show up here as members, and then they'll show up just as free members. But you have one license that you can distribute however you see fit. So you can invite 3, 4, 5 different members, and then 4 of the 5 would have a free license, and then 1 has an unlimited license, and you can redistribute that unlimited license to go to one person instead of another. So you can switch that around. You can change yourself to free, and you can upgrade someone else.
Also,
Basically, just go to the organization user management screen, invite anybody else who might be working with you, and then if you're going to all to be using it at the same time and you need multiple licenses, you can add multiple licenses. If you're going to just switch that over to another person, you can make yourself free, and then you can upload another user with
make him the admin.
you have you have one license you can distribute however you see fit amongst the team that you create here.
Awesome. Perfect.
Excellent. Thank you, Jake. Wonderful. So I did see we had somebody else join. So I wanted to kind of open the floor to questions, Jay. We kind of dove in a little bit after 4 o'clock, and I have to admit I'm not sure exactly when we were able to catch up, but we did a demo of the platform, and we're answering some questions now about different aspects, recommended best practices, really anything that we can cover here in the remaining time. So if you have any questions, please feel free to jump in. If there's anything that you want us to go back and review, we can certainly do that as well. Right. If not, that was certainly everything we were planning on covering today. So I want to thank you for joining in and attending. Like I said, we're always a click away right here to help drive your success, whether that includes support on anything that isn't working as expected or that you need a little bit of retraining on or help understanding, all the way to pro tips, best practices, or sending over a data set so we can give it a look and make sure that everything's running on point. We are here to help. Our definition of customer success is helping you be as successful as possible. Pretty straightforward. That's exactly what our team is here to do. So if there aren't any other questions, I'll go ahead and call it for us. But like I said, we'll be right here, ready and waiting. We actually had a training webinar yesterday that we closed, and immediately the attendees all jumped right in here and had 4 or 5 questions right as they started using it, which was perfect. That's exactly what we want. Please do not suffer in silence. Let us know if we can help. So thank you again for attending. Any final questions or thoughts before we close out?
Yeah, I have another final question. I'm really sorry about
That's
it.
what. No. That's why I asked. I always try to do that ramp up and then say like, I know there's another one out there. Yeah.
Yes. so basically, about the researching about the company. Can you please show me once again, like how to research about the company or that one particular contact?
Absolutely. So you're going to see that when you're in either search or in, I think it's maybe it is, yeah, or in my contacts. We have this Intel column, and if you click right here on the contact intelligence icon, that'll take you to that page where you can go a little bit deeper into the individual contact. And our reps, on our own inside sales team, use this pretty frequently. And when I've conducted customer interviews with them as internal customers, this is one of the things that they have pointed to as a differentiator, which actually surprised me because, it's obviously a feature that we're excited about. We want you to be able to access this information. But the extent to which our SDRs said, this helps get me that little extra edge to take a quick look at their LinkedIn profile and learn a little bit about them and be able to personalize a contact very, very quickly if I'm working within the platform to understand who they are. And I think, yeah, there we go. So I can see a little bit of who they are. I mean, if you really want to go deeper and try to find their Facebook or Twitter page, you can do that as well. But yeah, that's where that feature is. You'll find it in My Contacts or in the search as you're looking for them, and it's just that little contact intelligence icon right there.
Thank you.
Of course, great question. I'm glad you took a second to call that out. It's the component that I think as people move through the company to contact search, and it makes sense because you want to move at scale and you want to build. So you will find yourself moving through this relatively quickly if you're building a list at scale and clicking find all, find all, find all, find all, and building that list. This is I actually recommend moving that way and moving with confidence to cast a wide net, because you are potentially gaining access to 80 to 90% of your total addressable market that isn't there when you use a database style solution. So moving quickly and building a list at scale is a good way to go. But that is one of those things you can come back to and use the platform for natively. That's that little extra step to find some personalized information on who they are. Little pro tip. All right, perfect.
All right. Thank you very much, David and Jake. Thank you very much for.
Of course, Dipto, our pleasure. And Jay, thank you for joining too. If you have any other questions, obviously feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to help.
All right, thanks everybody.
All right, thanks folks. Take care.
You too.